Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review for tonight's Newcastle United news show. It is three of us tonight. Myself, Paul. I'm joined by Alex and Billy, and we will be discussing everything Newcastle tonight. Well, look, there's a bit to go through. Personally, I'm getting fed up with this bloody transfer window. I really am. It's just becoming a pain in the arse. I can't wait till it shuts and we just get on with it, to be honest. But we are linked with players for centre back, nobody for right wing, which tells me that they're happy with Murphy and Miggy. But hey, you just never know. But if you do enjoy tonight's show, guys, please do give it the thumbs up as usual. And if you're new, please do subscribe. It is free to do so. Almost at 31,700. I think we're about 4 away from that target. So please do subscribe if you're new, but don't forget to hit the notification bell, which will let you know when we upload any videos or go live. You can support the channel, of course, in the two usual ways. One is by membership. Just hit the join button underneath the three of us. And of course, the other one is Super Chat, which is the $sign at the bottom of the live comments. And that will also guarantee your comment to be read out on the show. Good evening, fellas.
Good evening, and good evening to all those in viewerland.
Now, we obviously didn't do a show yesterday simply because there wasn't anything to do. But we couldn't have anyway because Billy was, through the eye of a needle, Billy, I think is fair to say.
Yes.
I have COVID. Alex is the only fit one out of the three of us tonight. To be honest, I've been ill for a number of days now, pretty ill, to be honest. And Billy was with stomach problems yesterday. So Alex is in somewhere, in Merseyside tonight, but he still wanted to come on and do the show. So we'll get through it as quick as we can, or as well as we can. I'm probably not my usual upbeat self tonight by any stretch, but got to try and do something to get my ass off the couch, to be honest. But Ben's saying, have you heard the Guehi news, which is just broken?
In the last 3 minutes since we went live.
Well, I mean, it's just gone in the chat there from, I don't know who it was actually, but it's gone flying past me. Liverpool, Robin Van, no, very funny. I'm just, no, somebody tell us.
I can't see anything on Twitter. Luke Edwards has been tweeting in the last 10 minutes that he thinks they're getting close to a Guehi deal.
Which is very, very strange to me because, I mean, they've lost Anderson to Fulham, haven't they? Has that gone through? Is that deal done?
Close to. It's not yet, but it's close to.
So then the losing Guehi is possibly Guehi as well. But that would, I mean, to be honest, I've heard reports that they are looking at two centre backs, Palace, which would say to me that they're expecting to lose both of them. But I mean, Billy, that would be a disaster for them, really, to lose both the centre backs.
If anyone's going to fix it, though, Glasgow, I think, is the one for it. He obviously wants to play with his own players. Guehi doesn't look great at Palace at this precise moment in time, whether that's down to pressure on his head about moving or whatever. But apart from that, it's a strange situation for them to lose Anderson and Guehi, which could happen. Anderson looks like he's on the verge of joining Fulham. And Guehi, of course, linked with us heavily and may be about to be approached by other clubs. Who knows? This is what Mr. Parrish wanted, I think. So it'll be immense if we can get him through the door, but it's going to be a tough one.
I mean, the thing is, Alex, they can't be far apart, surely, the two clubs. If we're talking about Guehi and we're still in there, which we're led to believe that we are, there's obviously not a lot of there's not a huge gap, which is why we're still involved in it, surely.
Yeah, it's a little bit frustrating purely because of this Anderson deal for 30 million. Because if you sort of spin it the right way, you could say, Anderson is a seasoned international, left-sided centre half, left-footed, could ping a pass, just played here, played there. He's kind of like he's got that Fabian Schär vibe about him. Anderson has for Palace. But they're not sort of moving goalposts and playing hard to get or hard ball, should I say, for Anderson, whereas we're obviously getting that about Guehi, which is a little bit frustrating. Some consistency would be nice, but again, they can do what they want. It's their players, it's their club. Yes. It is what it is, and I think all these recent links are just, personally, I think they're all just a smokescreen. I think they are just essentially trying to put the pressure on Parish and Palace to make a deal. Otherwise, we will walk away. I think Tabsoba is definitely out of reach financially. Everybody keeps talking about this £81 million release clause. Can't see where that's been confirmed anywhere.
Well, Dan GG, he's been a member for 25 months. Thank you very much, Dan. Telegraph's Mike McGrath saying there's only 5 million difference in valuation now. I think that's what they're talking about.
Yeah, that's what Luke Edwards has just retweeted 9 minutes ago.
However, hasn't always been the case.
Yeah, I think that has always been the case. I don't think that's an exclusive. That's what we knew 2, 3, 4 days ago.
Yeah,
we knew that on Saturday, didn't we?
Yeah. Well, look, we're linked with quite a few centre backs, aren't we? I mean, there's Disasi, there's what's his face? My mind's gone blank. Tapsoba, yeah, he's apparently got £100 million release clause. But 100 million quid. I mean, that's.
Well, some people are saying 81, and a couple of people have mentioned 100.
Yeah,
which is it? Is it any?
Well, and then Ben said apparently Tapsoba £45 million offer. If he's got £100 million release clause, I don't think they'll get him for 45. To be honest.
I mean, let's be honest. Why would he leave a Champions League side with an unbeaten record last season? His stock's at the highest it's ever going to be.
Well, Leverkusen have told him he can leave. Apparently, that's the reports I've been reading today. That they've said that he can leave. But it's one thing saying he can leave, but it's another thing the player wanting to go. You know,
there are conflicting reports that the player isn't interested in leaving as well. So it's all very
exactly. I mean,
why would the club want him to leave? He's 25.
The whole centre back situation is. I mean, it's. I don't know. It's getting beyond a joke now. It really is. It's you see other teams making signings left, right, and centre. And this has always been a bit weird with me with Newcastle United. Even since the takeover, why does it take us so long to get deals done when we see other teams? Like, how many players have West Ham been able to bring in? The deals just seem to get done so much quicker. But when Newcastle go for a player, it just drags on and on.
So there's been a lot of talk in the last few days about this being why Amanda Rumeda left, because it wasn't dealt with very well. And this is ultimately why we're not having maybe the window we'd hoped we would have.
Yeah.
Darren Eales is on record saying we were going to kind of improve the squad, and we haven't done that. Not at all, because I think that's fair to say that sort of Ruddy and Black Demos isn't an improvement in that squad. So, yeah, I think people are allowed to start being a little bit frustrated.
Yeah, I agree, and for me as a fan, I'm getting frustrated now. There's not long in the window left.
You've got to appreciate though as well that they've made a change with Mitchell coming in, and they've made a change at board level. So,
but it also seems. I mean, we'll come on to the centre backs, shortly. But it also seems like, Billy, we aren't going to go for a right winger now. There's none being linked, and I know, there's still a bit of time in the transfer window, and we may still Newcastle may be doing deals behind the scenes. But the way that he's been talking about Almiron being a big part, etc., and I have seen reports again this afternoon saying that we'd accept 15 million quid for him, but it seems just still all up in the air. And I'm not so sure that we will have if we don't bring in a right winger. I'm not convinced we've had a good window, no matter who we bring in at centre back, Billy.
Yeah, but I mean, if Almiron goes out the door, I think that's the only way we're going to get a right winger in. I think PSR is strangling us slightly. I think there's no doubt about that. I think you've mentioned West Ham there. They're spending money on the back of a massive sale last summer, which we didn't really get. We sold our asset last summer for way undervalued. And that's the point for me. And we are
does it not? I'll ask you the same question though, Billy. Does it not frustrate you as a Newcastle United fan when we see deals getting done, but we seem to be like doing deals in reverse? We're so slow at getting them done. And I'm not sure why that is. We'll never know why that is. But you see other teams signing players and they're linked with a player. They'll go, or there's news breaking that they're talking to a player, a certain club's talking to a player. And then within a couple of days, the deal's done. And with us, it doesn't happen like that. I'm
more frustrated with the outgoings, if I'm perfectly honest.
Yeah.
I think if the outgoings are gone, then I think we get players in quicker.
100%. Can I add something to what you just said, Paul? I think you've thrown a different perspective on that that's slightly not unfair, but it's your own. You've got to look at it in another way. A lot of the recruitment of other clubs isn't necessarily the direction we want to go in. Like Niklas Füllkrug for West Ham is 31. We wouldn't want to sign a player like that. You've got Turkey to Fulham that's been reported. We love Turkey. We've looked at him a lot on this channel. Fantastic. However, there are question marks over his ability in terms of like defensive structure, and there's a lot of question marks over him as a player. So is it that we are only going to pull the trigger on the right purchases? Because we are at that point where we want to push. And I mentioned this the other day, that if we buy a player, if we buy several players, we cannot miss on too many transfers at all. We can't miss. We're not in the position to get it wrong. If we spend like Chris, you can argue that Chris Wood and Matt Targett were failures or maybe not super successful as transfers, but they were moderate purchases. We got money back on Chris Wood, and we still got Matt Targett. But if we go and spend 40, 50, 60 mil on somebody that doesn't work, can we come back from that?
Well, yeah, I mean, I understand that. But I mean, look, Cherky for me, I mean, 15 million quid isn't a high risk. If we were to go for him and spend 15 million quid on him, he's not a high risk if he doesn't work out, but he is a talent. And Alex, we've all banged on about Cherky before. We've seen him. We know he's a talent. And I think the best manager to get the very best out of that talent and bring him on is Eddie Howe.
But you're going to lose games with him in the team.
Well, we'll lose games with Almiron in the team, Alex, as far as I'm concerned. So it's not a very big risk.
I don't think you concede goals because of Almiron. You don't concede. He doesn't. We did last season, Alex. No, I think that's unfair. I think defensively, and the pressing structure and stuff, Murphy and Miggy are solid in that aspect of the game. But we need somebody who's going to bang him in like Gordon does on the right. It's that extra progression. And Cherky can be that kind of person, but he's not going to do the same defensively and pressing. And, there's question marks over him doing it in League One. So God knows what he's going to be like in the Premier League. I think it'd be great to watch. But
I think 15 million quid, it's for me, but as personally as a fan, I think it's a no-brainer. But it doesn't, it looks like he's going to Fulham. Keith Truscott, been a member for 23 months. Thank you, Keith. Can see this is going to bite us on the arse, hoping this transfer goes through when it won't as time runs out. Typical Newcastle business. It pisses me off. There is a lot of comments coming in saying that they are, getting a bit frustrated. I understand that. Again, we've all got to put this trust in what they're doing and still believe in them. But how far does that go, Billy, to the point where if this window closes and we failed again in the window, where does that put the situation with the trust when everybody says trust the process, but the process can't get the players through the door?
I think the process is tarnished because of the PSL rules. It's as simple and straightforward as that for me.
Yeah.
While we're bidding £65 million for centre-half, we could probably get one for 30 million and then strengthen elsewhere. That's the question you've got to ask, I think.
Yeah, there's an element of some of these transfers, by the way, that aren't the current board's fault. Like,
no. I mean, the massive contracts, absolutely.
Yeah, there's only some that are down to the fault of the new ownership. Like, it's pretty clear we do want to shift Mickey because there's been,
clubs from everywhere. We had clubs from the MLS in London last week about it. So that is on them. Fine, they're not able to shift him, but a lot of them is just deadwood that got signed on long contracts pre-takeover, and that is also hurting us. So some of it's their fault, some of it isn't.
Paul makes the point of people need to get a grip. The only reason we don't buy who we want is the FA. How can anyone whinge after the years we've had under Ashley and even previous owners? I understand where you're coming from, Paul, but we're in a very different era now. The Ashley years are behind us, and no matter how shit they were, Darren Eales keeps coming out on a regular basis telling us things that are going to happen, and that they haven't. Now, I'm not saying they won't. There's still just over a week left in the transfer window, so it closes next Friday. We may have got the players in by then, or we may be in the shop. We still may be shopping on deadline day. I think it's going to be a very interesting deadline day this season due to the amount of clubs that probably still want to buy. You look at Liverpool, teams like that, they'll all be wanting to strengthen before the window shuts as well. So I think it's going to be a real interesting battle on the last day of the window. Predator, thank you for being a member for 15 months. Keith Downey unloaded now, and he just said he's had a call today that we are talking to a right winger. Couldn't say who because he hasn't told his boss yet.
Fair enough.
Maybe we are. I mean, maybe we are talking to a right winger, but thing is,
the issue is a lot of that
things
hinges
like
on.
that. I just saying things like that. I mean, don't say it at all, really, until you get concrete information. I mean, look.
Well, he's just passing on what he's got, but the problem is that hinges on who do we get in as centre half. It depends
if there's
what we
a right
pay for
winger
the
coming
centre
in,
half.
does that mean Miggy's going?
Well, then that's not what I mean. What I mean is
the lad at Norwich is refusing to play, isn't he? I mean, maybe we could get him on a Jonathan Rowe. He looks an excellent prospect.
He's gone to Marseille, isn't he?
Has he gone?
He's gone to Marseille, I think. Yeah,
he's going to Marseille. Yeah. But depending on what we pay on a centre half, if we pay 65, then the right winger is going to be cheaper, or not at all. If we end up paying 35, 40 for a centre half, we might be able to get a better right winger. A lot of that depends on, because it's very clear the priority is centre half first.
But the point is,
coming out of the club.
Once we're bidding £60 million for Marc Guehi, these £30 million centre half suddenly become 40, 45, 50 million.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the Newcastle tax, of course. Laura says, is the delay because Eddie's arguing over who he wants? It seems not everyone is on the same page. Look, it was interesting to me that report about Miggy came out this afternoon saying we'd accept £15 million for him, that they were making it publicly known that that's how much we'd accept. Now, is that because behind the scenes there is a little bit of interest brewing in Miggy, that we may move him on? As Keith Downey said tonight, if he's been given information that we're talking to a right winger, is that because the ball's rolling with Miggy? Because it seems to me that the only way we bring a right winger in is if Almiron is sold. And I pretty much think we're all agreed on that, aren't we?
Yeah. I think he spoke volumes that he didn't bring him on Saturday as well.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, you did say throughout the second half.
We needed work right on the pitch. I think he'd have been a better sub than Harvey Barnes, to be honest.
Alex made exactly the same point in the second half. When we were talking about
I'm shocked. I think that game needed Miggy, and he didn't use him.
Yeah,
100%.
And Trippier. I mean, let's not forget Trippier as well in
I'm
all
shocked
of this.
Trippier didn't come on.
Yeah,
shocked.
It's so there's still a lot of questions dangling around like balloons in the air at the minute. Keith, thank you for your super chat, mate. To be honest, I'd take Brian the Snail over Miggy. He's got to go. Who's Brian the Snail?
Magic Roundabout. Old person's reference.
All right, okay.
Why am I laughing? I wouldn't know who he was either.
No, you're far too young, Billy, obviously. Niall says, I honestly think Eddie wants a player so much and Mitchell is trying to appease him. He usually would go and get at least 4 players for less. Got a super chat coming from Keith Lee. I have no doubts about the recruitment guy's capabilities, but the slow dragging and the haggling for a few million really raises questions. Look, I can't argue with that because it seems like when we are in for transfers, there is just an element of just like why don't we just, instead of going in with like, I mean, what did we originally reportedly went in for Guehi? It was around 50 million, wasn't it? Now, if we knew Palace wanted 65 or near enough that, why are we going in at 50?
Testing the water, I guess. Testing the water.
Well, there is testing the water, absolutely. But you just know that they're going to come back and say, no, they're not going to take 50 million for Guehi. Never in a million years. And then it just, look how long this has been going on now.
Yeah, but it wasn't to get that accepted. It was to try and get the accepted bid to be a bit lower. It was to try and get them to accept a 55 or 60. But they've just kept going, no. And it's just, it's gone back to square one. So, and as to the recruitment team, we it's hard. We're not going to be able to assess that. We don't have eyes on the inside. So it's either,
we don't.
Is it they're just being quite trivial and basic about it and things are being rejected, or is there far more to this that we don't know? Maybe there's 8 spinning plates with centre halves and there's loads going on. Like we just don't know.
I guess things will come out in the wash, Alex. You know, the things will come out over the next week. I'm sure of it.
And everybody will write articles about how they knew this week, even though there's no information on it.
Yeah. Listen, I've heard this as well, Mick, that Trippier's name's gone off the... I was sent a photo a few weeks ago of Kieran Trippier's... Well, not actually a few weeks ago, very, very... Well, last week, I think it might have been, of Kieran Trippier's private box at St James's, and the name's gone. So that was interesting.
If that is his box, of course.
It was his box, Billy.
Yeah.
No, it was his box. But listen, they could be cleaning it. They could be doing a new name badge. They could be doing anything.
Exactly. We don't want to incite rumours. He's had a lot of personal issues, and we.
But listen, come on, we have to talk about Trippier's situation because it's
100%, 100%. Yeah, he didn't play at Southampton, and he played 45 against Sunderland.
That is bizarre. Yeah. I understand Matt Targett maybe playing to get some, he hasn't played for donkey moons, but Kieran Trippier.
And I'm not allowed to talk about Sunderland, am I? Otherwise I'm moaning, so I don't know why I talk about that.
But listen, Trippier for me, I don't know, it's not like he wasn't fit and he needed the match fitness. That's bollocks as far as I'm concerned. It just, the whole thing is a very, very weird situation. James says, as a Newcastle fan, it's so frustrating knowing that we have the richest football club in the world. However, we can't spend any money. We should be improving the squad every year.
This is what PSR is. That's what PSR said. They've stopped us from doing.
Well, Billy, you mentioned the players sold, and obviously, especially Minte, because he's setting the world on fire already. And should we have maybe? I mean, how much would we have got for a Sean Longstaff? Would we have got close to the same? 25?
I wouldn't. Maybe 25. Maybe 25. I don't know.
Is there other players there? Yeah,
Sean Longstaff on Saturday, you'd probably pay 30 for, but Sean Longstaff that played against Arsenal, you would give tuppence for.
Yeah. Black and White Sheep says we've had several windows where we bought very late, including Isak. I agree. Listen, that's why I still say there's still just over 7 days, 8 days.
It's night and day from what we had before this takeover happened, though, because we used to go after players that are unobtainable and bid ridiculous fees for them, underballing, when we knew that we weren't really in for them. This window, even with the restraints we've got financially, there is a kind of definite kind of appetite to sign new players and improve the squad. Just isn't happening as yet.
Can I make a Chelsea point?
Just 1 second, Alex. You just got a super chat in from Ian Morgan. Thanks, Ian. We scored a load of goals last season, but we conceded a lot. Maybe Eddie wants to spend on defence and doesn't think we need more up top. That's 100%. A very good point. Yeah. Go on, Alex.
I just wanted to make a point about, we keep talking about PSR. Chelsea didn't play European football last season, did they? I'm pretty sure because they finished, was it 8th the season before last? So they've been out of European football for a few years now. And this season they're only in the conference, so that's not gonna give them loads of revenue being in there. So they've been out of that for some time. They've had ownership issues. They've not had sponsors on the shirts. They've had a lot of trouble around that. That being said, this season they have signed João Felix 50, Neto 60 mil, Anselmino 16.5, Jorgensen 24.5. Caleb Wiley, 10.2. Renato Vega, 14. Dewsbury Hall, 35 mil. Marc Guehi, 6. Omari Kellyman, 22.5. Esteval, 34. And Tosin on a free. That is enormous. That's so many players. And again, the PSR is allowing clubs with old success to just keep going, even though they've not been overly good in the last few years. Chelsea are able to spend as though they're a title-winning side, like your Man Cities and Arsenals are trying to do, but they've not really done anything. They were like, we finished higher than them.
What the sales like, Stato? What the sales like? I know they've sold Matson. I think who else has gone?
Just before we do that, Nick Thornton sent in a super chat as well. Thank you, Nick. I think this will be the last year where we have to deal with PSR. Everyone now realizes that it's killing the league and will be dropped next summer. Well, something else will probably be brought in. That's the problem. Don't
hold your breath.
Yeah, yeah.
Matson and Conor Gallagher.
Conor Gallagher, yeah.
Which again is, but again, that even though that justifies a lot of the money. That's backwards because you've got clubs selling their youth prospects, which you want the youth players of that region growing up and playing for their clubs. You don't want the clubs forcing them out to generate money. Like it's just backwards, and that's whether it's us who've had to do it with Anderson or Chelsea. It's some clubs are doing it willingly, some are doing it.
Lewis Hall as well, of course. Yeah,
they don't care.
Jebben just mentioned.
Miggy's going nowhere, says Claire. We can't wait for him to leave.
And don't forget, Chelsea are kind of doing things that are totally against the ethics and morals of business, selling stuff to themselves to get PSR. Ridiculous.
Yeah, I agree with that. Peter Merrifield, thank you for your super chats. I watched a streamer on YouTube reporting on the under-21s. He reckons that Trippier didn't want to be there. What by the way he played? I mean, yeah. I mean, you can look. You can try and guess a player, and his facial expressions and his body language and things like that. But you never truly know.
I heard he played quite well in the first half. It was Matt Target that looked like an old man and he was getting done left, right, and centre.
Look, like I say, I understand the Matt Target one playing in the under-21s for minutes, but
the way he is, why was he on the bench Saturday?
Yeah, I mean,
so he could run around on the touchline.
Maybe.
Yeah. But then again, a lot of them ran around on the touchline. I don't know whether that was just because of the way the game was going. I mean, surely, you were talking about Miggy's defensive stuff there before, Alex, and the fact that he didn't come on. That obviously makes fans sit up and take notice and think, right, we know that he's got defensive capabilities. But then you've got Kieran Trippier there as well, and we're backs against the wall. Yet he doesn't bring on Trippier, which was incredible for his, because of experience. And then he doesn't bring Miggy on; he brings Harvey Barnes on. So very strange decision.
I mean, personally, I everybody knows my opinion who watches the channel on Harvey Barnes in terms of when you need a fight, when you need a warrior. I feel still question marks over Harvey Barnes in those kinds of games, although he gives us goals and assists, and when we're good, he's good. But I just thought in that kind of game, I was surprised that he didn't use Miggy in some capacity in the second half to just run around and close people down. Because obviously on that right side, there was an extra overload. There was a spare player. We were down to 10 men. And that's the kind of game where you need Miggy because of the stamina and speed, and he will just run and run and run and run and close space down and block passing lanes. And I just thought he's used him in that way historically. So the fact that he didn't turn to Miggy, maybe it's not indicative of anything. It's potentially he went with a slightly different game plan. It depends on who's gotten sent off. Maybe we're reading into this way too much. It might be nothing. But I was a little bit surprised he didn't use either Trippier or Miggy.
Steve thinks it's simply because of fitness. I don't actually agree with that, Steve. I get where you're coming from, but listen, Trippier and fitness playing an under-21 game. I mean, all the times he was injured since he's been at Newcastle, he's never been put back into the under-21s to get match fitness.
Why do you think he played in the under-21s then?
Why?
Yeah,
I can't answer it, Alex. I don't know, but I don't think it's for fitness.
it could only be fitness, can't it?
But if you look at when he's returned from injuries in the past for us, he's never been in the under-21s. He's never been in there for match fitness. So it's really confusing.
Yeah, I'm guessing now, though, he's got a complete, direct competitor for his position. And is he really first choice? Would he get minutes? Would you take Livramento off Saturday to get Trippier on?
Or maybe the fact that we don't have to rush him back because we got Livramento. That could be a good point.
I mean, we're speculating at this point. For all we know, Kieran may have asked to play. We just don't know. He might have gone, Eddie, can I play the first half in the youth game to get some minutes in my legs? Who knows? Yep. We just don't know.
He could have. Chippers, who's been a member for an incredible 32 months. Thank you very much, buddy. Dare I say Saturday we could have done with Wilson, physical presence to hold the ball up and buy us some time up the pitch. Well, Asula could have done that, in my opinion.
It's to be fair, we had no one up the pitch to kind of hold it on to anyway, because even Isak was defending.
Yeah. Harry, who's been a member for 4 months. I love the show, lads. The four of you make it the most enjoyable fan channel. Feels like a true family. Thank you, Harry. We do our very best. Super chat again from Keith. Thank you, Keith. According to Adam Pearson, Trips took a corner and it went into the side net, and so something isn't right with him. Maybe why Eddie not playing him.
I mean, he's done that before for the first team. So
yeah, he's done that many, many times. I mean, just because he took a corner at the side net, I mean, we really are clutching at straws there. Daniela says, you're never going to get the bid lower because you're one of the rich boys now. So pull right and act like one, or you lower your ambition.
Well, the fact of the matter is we can't, because we're not allowed to by PSL rules. It all comes down to that. Spend willy-nilly without getting points deductions. You can guarantee the takeover was that hostile with other clubs and the FA and the Premier League, that if we did kind of break the rules on PSL, we'd get the highest possible punishment for it.
Yeah.
You've had other clubs getting away with selling hotels to themselves, getting 40 times the COVID losses amount, exceptional losses and allowances for ludicrous things. We're not able to do that. We could try it, but we'd probably just get rejected, and then we'd get a points deduction. So we can't do it. George Hayes says it's not just the lack of signings. What about training shirt, ground sponsorships? The commercial revenue is not moving as much as I thought it would be. Yeah. Well, we actually did something on this. I think you mentioned the Peter
Silverstone's interview,
speech on a video, didn't you? Mm-hmm. So Peter Silverstone did come out and somewhat throw his toys out the pram in an interview, because he basically, I'm paraphrasing, I'd have to go back and check the speech, but he said something along the lines of, people don't understand how difficult it is to get your sponsorships and XYZ. So he did a speech about this recently. I'll have to go and find it and put it on Twitter for everyone. But he said that it is trickier. It's not just a case of, hi, can you sponsor the training ground? And it's not that easy. So Peter Silverstone is on record as saying he's trying. But I think we would all agree, keep trying, maybe try a little bit harder, because it would give us more money. So, yeah.
I mean, Sophia says Timu Simon Jordan can sod off now. Who's she talking about there?
Steve Parish, I imagine.
Oh, Parish. Okay. Yeah. Mix is the only late night deal I like, Susan, is a kebab and chips on Just Eat. Yeah, well, we'll be with you all the way through deadline day. Of course, our marathon charity show. We are looking to raise over $5,000 for charity. We almost got to 4.5 last time. That is our goal this time around. You've never let us down in the past. We will be streaming the full day right until the window closes. Billy's got his cushions ready and inflatables and stuff like that to sit on to make sure his ass doesn't go to sleep again. Keith, thank you for
that's clarified the inflatable bit there.
Absolutely. Don't make me laugh, Billy, please. Keith says, thank you for another super chat. Keith was meaning with what all is going on with him. It may be a mental thing. Yeah, it could be. It could be. But I guess we'll never know until later down the line. The I King says, if you're going to put the comments in the stream, can you leave them up longer enough to read? Oh, I do apologize. Well, there is thousands of messages coming through. So I have to keep them going at a quick rate because I have to keep them up on the screen. Then I have to keep talking. It's not very easy, but I'll try. But we've got over 1,800 watching, so do subscribe if you're new. Dan Brown says, and none of them are included in their playing squad. Obviously talking about Chelsea. I mean, what a massive bugger up they've had, by the way.
I mean, Tosin's not even mentioned it's not even been picked in the European squad.
Yeah.
Surely he regrets going there now.
I thought I was.
No, they made a mistake. I thought they'd put him in.
Yeah,
they made a mistake.
Apparently, it was
left
an
him out
admin error,
originally.
wasn't it?
Yeah, admin error.
Oh, so he's in now, is he?
Apparently, he's in now. Yeah. What a monumental balls up they've made of that. Barbara, thank you for being a member for 31 months. Really appreciate that, Barbs. Hi, Paul, Billy, and Alex. I reckon we will get the 2 players we need before the end of deadline day. What makes you confident, though, Barbara? That's the thing. I'm interested to know why some people are very confident that we're going to get these players in. I mean, is it just
can I say something slightly happy clappery?
Oh, okay.
I would like to remind, being as we've got so many people in, I would like to just remind some people that might have forgotten, and it is a happy clapper comment, and fine, whatever, come at me. Lewis Hall, Tino Livramento, and Sandro Tonali did not play really any minutes last year. It's negligible, not as many as that we were hoping they were going to. This year, those 3 players are going to be, ideally, first names on the team sheet. So I'm going to say the cliche, like new signings, basically. I know it's mad, but it's kind of true. So,
it is true. And
then if we do get 1 or 2 through the door, centre half, possibly right wing, then it's fantastic. But I do completely agree with people. If we get nobody else through the door, it is really frustrating. But then on the flip side, do we want to spend money on people that aren't our priority targets? Do we want to buy our 5th, 6th, 7th choice? I don't know. That's risky, especially like the conversation we just had. We can't afford to miss too much on transfers. We can't splurge 40 mil minimum on somebody and they just don't work because we're so close to PAR limits anyway. We can't miss. We just can't.
Yvonne made me laugh here. It's about a season ticket price going up and only a lick of paint went into the area I'm in. Some old tired seats and tables and flooring. Did you guys see that Man United fan that took a screwdriver and some screws into Old Trafford to fix his seat?
Was that Eric Ten Hag, was it?
No, it was just a van. I don't know how he managed to get the damn thing in there, but he took an electric screwdriver and some screws, and he actually fixed his own seat. He put the screws back into his own seat. I mean, Old Trafford's fallen down. We know that. Peter McCardle, thank you for your super chat. This window so far is a disaster. 2 keepers, 1 who could go on loan, a young striker, and haggling over an overpriced centre-back. I mean, look, everyone's got really strong opinions on this. It is.
But we can have a disaster transfer window and have a good season.
Solo says, breaking news, Mike McGrath on X stating Marc Guehi deal is close. Well, it's been close for how many weeks now?
Yeah, close by monetary value because he's saying that we're about 5 mil off, which we already knew that on Saturday. So...
I mean, could you imagine that we finally agree a fee with Palace and then Guehi decides he doesn't want to move?
No, I think he wants to move. I think he really
does. Absolutely. Yeah.
I thought it was a bit of a risk in playing Sunday and getting injured. That would have scuppered everything, wouldn't it?
He wasn't really very good, though, was he?
No,
it was
awful.
It's terrible, yeah. Peter Garthwaite, thank you for your super chat. Is anyone worried now? We are clinging to Guehi. We should have moved on ages ago. It is not a good look for Mr. Mitchell. Well, if we get him, then does that say that we've been determined, or does that say we've been, taken for a ride? I mean, you could look at it both ways.
How much does Paul Mitchell get? How much input is he having? Because then he just bloody took the job on. Let's be honest.
Well, exactly. Simon Muller, thank you for your super chat. We qualified for Europe in 22-23 with 15 players. We have a lot of players on the last year of their contract, so maybe next summer is the window.
Yeah, but we said that for this summer.
Keep putting it back every year, don't we?
We said that with like Richie and Dummett and stuff going, and we thought
that.
Gillespie was going to go and he didn't. We thought Dubravka was going to get sold
every
and he
transfer
hasn't.
window. Kev says Trippier is an experienced international footballer. He can do whatever he wants. If he didn't want to be there, he wouldn't have been.
Correct.
Well,
true.
What you think? If Eddie turned around and said, "I'm putting you in the under-21s tonight," Trippier wouldn't go. I think he would.
I don't think Eddie asked him to do that.
He's big enough where he could sulk and someone would just come and buy him straight away.
Trippier's not that kind of person, is he? He's obviously...
No, I don't think so.
I don't think he would.
He could.
Eddie could have gone to him and says, "Look, Trips, you need a bit of fitness in your legs. Go and play." I've said I don't think it's for fitness, but I may be completely wrong.
Can I just say a few people have made some really good points about my comment about Tonali, Lewis Hall, and Livramento being available this year. A lot of people mentioned Nick Pope and Harvey Barnes, and yeah, you're all right.
And Joe Linton.
Harvey Barnes and Joe Linton. Yeah, basically most of our best players were unavailable last year. So even if it's a bad window, I still think we're better than we were last year because we've got so many more players available. And we've got Osula in. Everybody's missing Osula off that list. I think he might have more of an impact this season than maybe people are giving him.
I liked what I've seen from Osula in the Cellar Cup. I really did. I thought his movement was good. He's got a bit of pace about him, got a bit of strength about him. I think he's for what we paid for him. I think he could end up being
maybe
a really
in
good
December
signing.
we might see a bit more from him.
But isn't it odd that with the rumours of Tapsoba and other centre halves that were Dizazi today, suddenly
Palace, maybe Palace have thought,
maybe there's method in the madness.
We may lose out on this. It could be. Liam, thank you for your super chat. Can we get top 4, guys, if we don't sign anyone?
Yes.
Yeah, but nobody can get injured.
Yeah,
nobody can get injured
or suspended.
So yeah, all that.
Yeah. I definitely don't want to. I do think we just need strengthening. I genuinely believe though, if we get a centre back and a right winger, I do believe that's a decent window. Because we're targeting yeah. Nick says, I think we are waiting on the result of third-party sponsorship challenge before announcing new sponsors. Good point. Yeah. Good point.
Yeah, that's fair.
Channel Right says, to be honest, I like having a woman like Amanda at the helm. I unfairly got Ashley vibes looking at the men at the helm.
Listen, all men ain't Mark Ashley.
Mitchell.
I may look like
go and listen to Paul Mitchell's interview. He's anything but.
Yeah. Look, Darren Eales is a very interesting character, right? For me.
I'm still on the fence about him.
Me too.
He's sort of
dull boy.
He does give that impression. I mean, don't get me wrong. This guy's got a hell of a business brain
in the stack.
Yeah, I'm not sure the dancing in the stack was the right thing to do.
That's more Ashley-esque, isn't it? Let's be honest.
Well, we all remember that, don't we? With pints in the crowd and stuff like that. And but look,
when we're doing really well, it's funny. But now there's a few question marks in certain areas. Everybody's going, "Oh, it's not funny anymore." Everybody's kind of seeing through it a little bit. Maybe I'm being a bit harsh, but
Simon says another super chat saying that Cher is suspended. Billy,
that was my point, mate.
Claire says we were told to calm down, wait till after the Euros. We'll have someone for the Japan tour, Cellar Cup, away kit launch. Now is the time to panic.
It'll be all right. We'll get someone in for Valentine's Day.
Jesus. On X, they're joking that we will re-sign Paul Dummett.
He was at the game Saturday, wasn't he?
He was. Did he not sign for Sheffield United? I'm sure.
Not yet. He's going to go into.
Okay. Susan says, I love Hall, but I'm worried about him positionally sometimes. Well, yeah, I mean, we've discussed that, I think, but that is something I think, Susan, that he will learn as he advances in the first team. And, he's still very young, and I think the raw side of his game will be ironed out as time goes on. I don't know whether you guys agree with me on that.
Can I say the thing about the young players? Mm-hmm. I say this every window. Lewis Hall and Tino Livramento will make mistakes this season, and people have got to try and be careful not to get too much on their back. They will make mistakes. They will maybe handball it or foul someone or give a pen away or lose a man. It will happen. Absolutely, it will. And we've just you have to allow for that. they're young fullbacks in a very difficult league. It's going to happen, but you can see the potential and the talent there, and we've got to play them to progress them. So it's the trade-off.
Yeah. Alex makes a good point. Trouble is, certain sections of our fan base got too gassed up by the early talk of players like Mbappe. This isn't Football Manager, it's the real world. It is, but we seem to take a long time. That's all I'm saying. I just, I
think people were reading into the fact we had the richest owners in the world, meaning we could buy anyone. Of course, there's rules and laws to stop us doing that.
There's a lot of rules and laws to stop us doing that. And every time one of those laws disappears, they make a new one up to stop us doing that. Mm-hmm. Cynical Jim, good evening. He says, I think Trips playing a reserve game is an insult to him. He's obviously pissed on someone's chips.
No, I think he's asked to do it to get some minutes in his legs.
Yeah, he might have asked for it. You never know.
But guys, one thing that's certainly come across in this show is there is so much uncertainty just bouncing around this football club right now. And I think that's why a lot of fans are saying, I just wish the window would shut and that we can just get on with the season knowing who we've got. Because there's so many questions that we want answering as fans. And listen, I am sure we will get those questions answered by the end of the deadline day. I'm pretty confident we still bring in at least one player before the end of this window. I think obviously there's a lot of talk tonight that the Guehi deal is close. He may well be in the squad on Sunday if we get it all done and quick enough. You just never know in football. But I see why you're pulling the face, Alex. It's Newcastle and we don't tend to do that. But you just don't know. But I mean, the questions that have to be answered, if we don't sign anybody, right? If we don't sign anybody, would you expect an explanation from Darren Eales as to why? Do we as fans deserve that from the club if we don't bring anybody in? Because I'm not sitting on deadline day and having this bullshit of we just couldn't get a deal across the line crap again.
Well, personally, I don't think Eddie Howe should have to answer those questions because he's not the one pulling the trigger anymore. They've hired people above him to do that, so you can't let Eddie Howe take all the flack. I mentioned this a couple of years ago when all of the journalists were just throwing Saudi Arabia questions at Eddie Howe. I thought it was inappropriate, and I thought the club should have provided him with some kind of representative to answer those political questions. And Eddie was fantastic, and he was clued up as well as he could be, and he answered those very, very well. But in this instance, again, he can't answer all those questions because he's not making all the decisions, is he? It's not his fault anymore. Somebody has to take accountability from above. I'm not sure they will. Would it be Darren Eales? Would it be because Darren Eales is talking? That's not a word. Spoken quite a lot about transfers, and kind of tried to be the hype man of.
Well,
this
at the end
window.
of the day, he's the CEO, and he's made himself. He's come out and said various things, Billy, hasn't he, during this transfer window? So sure, he's got to back that up, and if it doesn't happen, then he's got to come out and explain why. But I don't want to be sitting here on deadline day, Billy, saying, "Oh, we couldn't get a deal across the line," because that sends shivers down my spine back to the old days.
Well, he's kind of come out and made a rod for his own back if he doesn't. He's kind of, I don't know if he's officially been put into Amanda's old position, but he's kind of put himself in that position by what he's saying. He's raising fans' hopes. He's definitely raised fans' hopes, in fact, about the transfer window. And as yet, it's not come about. But again, we've got 9 days to go. So at the end of them 9 days, if nothing else happens, then he's got to come out and say something. Yeah, he really has.
Kara, thank you for your super chat. Which right winger and centre back would you have in this window, Paul, Billy, and Alex? I want Madueke and Gomez. Oh, I don't think Gomez is a popular choice. Look, if I was being...
Was that your choice or was that the comment?
That was the comment.
Oh, God, okay, thank you.
Christ on a bike, Alex. I mean, give me some respect.
Well, I like both players. But if
look,
I like both players, but
Gomez is decent, but
either.
I mean, realistically, who are the two players I'd love? I'd love Cherky at right wing, and I'd love Guehi in centre back. If we're going to say two players, then those would be the ones I want. Or actually, go and get Mbeumo from Brentford. Actually, not Cherky. Get Mbeumo. He's ready to go. He's Premier League experienced, and he's class. So
ding ding ding. That's the guy. Yeah, Guehi and Mbeumo would be my choices. 100%.
How much would Mbeumo cost though?
Yeah, you would need a sale to fund both.
Yeah.
That's the caveat there.
Jay Billow, thank you for your super chat. Eddie said a few players improve us equals slow window. Yeah. Yvonne
We
says,
haven't bought one yet.
Exactly. I bumped into Eels after he bought his sandwich and drink from Tesco. I stopped him and we had a conversation about the club. He was so fired up for us and was an absolute gentleman. Well,
you've got to tell us what was the sandwich and drink. Come on, you can't. What is Darren Eels?
Because if it was a bloody prawn sandwich, then get him out.
Was it sparkling water?
Egg and cress.
It was definitely an appetizer, wasn't it?
Egg and cress is going to delight.
Appetizer, bloody hell. Michael says, I was so pumped up about the transfer window. Now I'm in despair. We've left it too late. Clubs now know we're desperate.
Clubs are also desperate to get rid of players as well, then. So it works both ways.
I think that's what they didn't have financial experts say that on the radio, that he expects the last couple of days of the transfer window to be very busy because clubs will then hit the realization that they either need to sell or they need strengthening in certain departments, and they could probably get a better deal done in the last couple of days of the window because everyone's desperate to sell or desperate to buy, which may change the valuation on players and get deals done. So listen, I think it's going to be a very exciting deadline day. I think, we're not going to be sitting here twiddling our thumbs all day. There's going to be reports. Listen, there'll be a lot of rumors come through, but that's what we want. We want rumors and things like that to talk about on deadline day when we're streaming for 12 hours. It's something that we've...
there's going to be the option of loaning in about 20 Chelsea players, isn't there? So,
well, I mean, yeah, but... I know about Raheem Sterling, and listen,
they're going to have to do something with them by the end of the window. They can't just have 20 people.
Pedro Neto has been given the number 7 shirt at Chelsea, which was Raheem Sterling's.
Oh yeah. But what are you going to do with them? You can't just put them in a sports hall and chuck a few tennis balls in there and go on, lads, you just chill for the rest of the year. Like, you've got to do something with them. Like, it's ridiculous.
Absolutely. Guys, we've got over 2,000 people watching tonight across both platforms on YouTube and Twitter or X, of course. Thank you very much. Really do appreciate all your support, guys. Please do subscribe if you are new to the channel. We have, of course, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, the preview.
We do.
Yes. Bournemouth against Newcastle United. So we'll be taking a look and see what Eddie might change, or if he changes anything for the game. Well, one thing's for certain, he will have to change his centre-back. Peter Garthwaite, thank you again for another super chat. Do you think the board are hanging Eddie Howe out to dry? Now, I've heard a few people commenting saying this, that, they're kind of giving themselves an excuse to bin him off, shall we say, if it doesn't quite work out at the start of the season.
It's a theory.
I don't think so.
It's a very strange one.
Well, listen.
Well, as an England manager to be kind of selected, Newcastle United will not be sacking Eddie Howe just in case. There'll be a nice compensation package coming our way.
Yeah, but if it doesn't, Billy, then they look a bit foolish.
After that, then obviously it's up in the air, isn't it? But as long as the results are right, Eddie Howe's going nowhere.
I like his football and his willingness to learn, so I'd rather keep him until the wheels completely fall off.
Yes.
Well, hopefully they just never do.
Trolls, thank you very much for your super chat. Just saying hello to the three of us. Thank you, mate. And we've got a super chat from Nikolai G. Downey said tonight, there's news on a right winger incoming. Someone linked before. Guehi deal is closer, and Trippier and Target are likely to leave.
It's so vague, though, because that could be a loan as a right wing. It could be a 10 or 15 mil young option. It could be a 40, 50 mil first choice option. Fair enough to Keith. If that's his source, he can only tell you what he's got. But obviously that just could be anything at all. So
I think Madueke on loan's a good bet, though.
On loan,
it would be interesting.
I'd be happy with that. I think a lot
of the option would be enormous because he's contracted until 2030 with an additional option for Chelsea to extend that till 2031. So be a lot.
By the way, guys, just to let you know why there's so many people watching, we have a fantastic guest next Thursday night, a week tomorrow. Somebody who will have tremendous stories of Newcastle United and working at the football club. He's very, very well known and a great guy as well. So we will have a very special guest next Thursday. We'll release that closer to the time. But 7 o'clock next Thursday night is a very, very special guest. Stuart Pike says, how would work wonders with Madueke given a little bit of time? Trevor says, it wasn't long after I started supporting them. I was brought up in Scouser House. Oh dear. Kev says, how much of an upgrade is Madueke on Murphy? It'll take him at least 6 months to become a Newcastle ready. I mean, that's the thing, isn't it? I mean, can we risk doing another Lewis Hall and bringing somebody in and then him not ready to go?
It's a bit different, I think. But yes, there would be an adaptation period for sure, because you've got to learn the pressing structure. You've got to make sure you've got the right stamina. You understand our attacking sequences. There's so much that you would have to learn. But he's got the physicality. He's the right profile. He played with Gordon in the England under-21s as well. It does fit like a glove, but at the same time, it's also correct that it may take a little bit. This is why loans aren't always the best option.
I want to do the Ace Ventura, and I can't do it.
It's like a glove.
My throat's too sore. Carl, thank you for being a member for 13 months. Really do appreciate it. He says, I could see it just being loans, not purchases. Well, the Guehi one's definitely a purchase, Carl. I don't think that there's any inclination of a loan coming in for Guehi. I think that's a deal. That's a proper transfer. Madueke, I could see being a loan, definitely. Again, time will tell. I mean, look, are we all fixed on thinking that Guehi and the right winger, probably along the lines of Mbeumo, is something that we should be really happy with? If we got those two, then that would turn a dull window into a fantastic window. Yeah.
10 window for me. Yeah.
So we're both, all of us are saying Guehi and Mbeumo.
I mean, it's not going to happen, but yeah.
No, but if we were to say who we really would want.
Yeah, why not? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, because you've got depth then.
Yeah. Jinky says Madueke is a massive upgrade on Murphy.
I agree. He's an upgrade. I wouldn't say it's a massive upgrade, but he's definitely an upgrade with ceilings.
He will be.
Yeah.
Yeah. If he progresses in 3 years, he'll be way better than Murphy. But as of right now, he needs to keep improving.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Stuart says Guehi and Madueke would be immense business if it did happen. What are you laughing at?
Comment from Alan M. It's a beauty.
If it's Wayne Faraday, good God. It's definitely not Wayne Faraday. It's not a player. It's not a former player. Okay, so you wouldn't have to name them. It's oh, Jesus. Yeah. Jake is trying to get his point through. Madueke isn't great. Have any of you watched him?
Yes, lots of times.
Lots.
Very, very good
many
player.
times.
Why do you think
we watched him at PSV? We watched him on this channel 2 years ago when he was still in the Netherlands because we were linked with him years ago. So he's fine.
Greg says, didn't everyone not rate Guehi before the Euros? Now he's Baresi?
No, we thought he was a good Premier League player. We didn't think he had the ceiling to go to what he reached at the Euros. But now he has. Clearly, it's pushed his price up by double.
Look, the bottom line is, guys, there is things starting to happen, and things are probably going to rapidly pick up pace as time goes on now, between now and the end of the transfer window. But as usual, we'll cover it all here on the Toon Review. If news breaks tomorrow of anything, we'll go live, probably, if it's the Guehi deal during the day. Of course, tomorrow night at 7 o'clock, we've got the match preview, Bournemouth versus Newcastle United. So join us for that. Have we secured a Bournemouth fan is the question. I don't think we have.
Not yet. I'm still working on that.
Okay. Simon Muller, thank you for a late super chat. Newcastle get a sell-on fee for Tony. Is that why no one is buying him? We could use that cash.
Yeah, but isn't it like 3% or?
I
don't think it's a lot. I don't think it's a lot. No.
Yeah, I don't think it's that much.
Yeah. Kev says this time next week we'll be watching Tonali.
Yes, we will next Wednesday.
Yes, we will have that game live. Don't apologise for the caps, Kev. It's rightly in caps, that.
It's worth shouting, that one. Yeah,
absolutely. That game will be live here on the Toon Review as well. What did you say, Billy?
So it's worth shouting about, yeah.
But
I'm just laughing at some of these suggestions of our guest.
It's not Mike Ashley.
It's not Mike
Definitely
Ashley.
not.
It's also not Craig Pawson either.
No, it's not Craig Pawson. Yvonne, thank you for your super sticker. Much appreciated. That is the end of the show, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Over 2,000 in tonight. Incredible support. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to you for your memberships and your super chats, etc. We've had some very, very long-term members making comments tonight, celebrating anniversary. So thank you for all your support. Mods, thank you. Billy and Alex, thank you. And of course, thank you to everybody out there for making this channel what it is. If you have just seen us and you're new and you like what you see, come and join the fantastic community we have here. Hit the subscribe button. It is free to do so. But don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss an upload or a live show. And don't forget to hit the thumbs up button. And Sophia, it is definitely not Mike Hooper.
It was going to be Doctor's camera and his mic.
yeah. It isn't a former player, okay? It's not a former player, but it's somebody who a really, really good guest who will be able to definitely tell us some stories. But there you go. Thank you very much, guys. As I say, if anything breaks tomorrow, there will be a new show. I'm sure things will. It's not Todd Bowley either. No, it's not. Good evening, Todd. But if something breaks, we will let you know right here on your favorite Newcastle United YouTube channel, the Toon Review. But in the meantime, enjoy the rest of your Wednesday evening, guys. Is it Wednesday?
Yeah.
All right. Take care.
No way,
COVID's killed me, man.
Come back and check on you breathing.